Y'all, I don't know if y'all ever believe this, but I saw a movie in theaters that I'm not saving for another video that I have to fucking re-record and liked. Like genuinely liked. God, I fucking hate my hair, bro. I wish I could just have it like this the entire time. I mean, I can still read my notes.
This is the universe. I promise that I will never die.
So I saw two movies this past weekend, and like I said, one of them was actually pretty good. Let's talk about the not so good one first. After the Hunt, written by Nora Garrett and directed by Luca Guadagnino. All right, I'm already tired of that bit. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I feel like there's a certain person that watches these videos just to see what fucking amalgamation my hair is throughout the video. After the Hunt is Luca Guadagnino's newest movie, and I kind of have a weird relationship with Luca Guadagnino. That's not really his fault. I just have like a negative bias toward him and his movies, just because part of his fan base that has gravitated towards his movies is just kind of like annoying as fuck. I feel like the same person that loves Bones and All way too much is the same person that loves Pearl way too much. Like the type of person who watches Pearl and is like, oh my god, she is a star, and ignores the entire fucking point of the movie. I don't know, sometimes you just gotta have a person to just like hate on for no reason, and I guess Luca Guadagnino is like that type of person for me. And it's not like I've seen all of his movies either. I've only seen Challengers and Queer. I have a hot take about Challengers, and it's that I just didn't like it. I found the three main characters to be very unlikable, and because of that, the movie just really doesn't land for me outside of, like, I guess how cool the tennis scenes are. The last scene in the movie is the only fucking part of the movie anyone talks about. So, but I did really like Queer, though. I guess I like Luca when he gets more into his... I don't know how to describe it other than ambient surrealist bag, even though that's only like maybe 20 minutes of the movie. I need to watch his movies and decide if my bias is real or not. And then this movie came out and was getting like fucking 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was doing the Birdman gif a little bit. I was. All of that to say, I went into this movie with fairly low expectations, and it turned out it was pretty decent. I actually liked this movie more than Challengers. My favorite part about this movie is how it really unapologetically shows how much ethics and philosophy majors are just complete fucking assholes. I took an ethics class for college like a couple of years ago, and the teacher was the most pretentious piece of shit, bro. I could not stand his ass. First day of class, he was playing some random B-side off of a Nine Inch Nails EP, and basically told us to read the book and find the one true answer to what the person was saying. I hate these fucking type of people, bro, because they're always just, oh my god. So I did appreciate that aspect of it. Pretty much everyone in this movie is a fucking dickhead. This movie really isn't afraid to go into controversial topics and just how people who use those sensitive topics to get what they want are like kind of just just pricks, just awful people. But does it really do anything with that? I don't really know, and like that's kind of my problem. I kind of interpreted the ending of this movie as being like a downer ending, but it just didn't leave any sort of like impact, or it didn't make me think anything that I hadn't thought of already. And the way this movie is structured, to me, it seems like it's missing a sort of straight man in this plot. There's potentially two characters that are kind of like that, but they never really seem to do anything all that significant. One of them gets like crazy manipulated, and the other just kind of says "I told you so" every time they're on screen. The performances are good for the most part, I would say. I mean, Io Adebri is fine. I don't think she's really bad in this movie. She does do her signature, like, disagreeing voice a lot in this, and it just sometimes it doesn't really fit the vibe that's going on. I think her performance is pretty fine overall. I liked Andrew Garfield when he wasn't kicked out of the movie for the second act. It makes sense why he's not in it. It's just I was entertained by his performance up until he got kicked out of the movie, and I'm like, fuck. Julia Roberts seems to have a lot to work with this, but she never really impressed me that much. I don't know why. The MVP in this movie was 100% Michael Stuhlbarg. He was a fucking delight anytime he was on screen. He was pretty magnetic. I really need to see more of his movies. I think I've only really seen him in A Serious Man, but he is incredible in that and this. So I need to fucking tap in onto him. I will say, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, at first glance I thought he was Stephen Root, and I got so excited. With Julia Roberts' character, it's not really the same thing, but like I couldn't help but feel like I'd much rather just watch Tar. There's a scene in After the Hunt that is like Julia Roberts' character kind of complaining about woke, I guess, and it really just reminded me of Cate Blanchett's fucking like classroom meltdown in Tar, and I'd much rather just watch that movie. That movie is fucking amazing, dude, and it kind of has like some of the same themes. Yeah, I'd rather just watch Tar, man. I got so excited about that movie, I fucking dropped my phone. I did appreciate the casualness of the trans character, and the fact that this is pointing out how damaging bad faith actors are to society, especially with sexual assault. But I eventually just kind of left the theater just not really thinking about anything. And I feel like that was kind of a big failure on this movie's part. But overall, I thought it was pretty decent. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah. And then the next movie I saw was Urchin, written and directed by Harris Dickinson. Harris Dickinson is definitely one of those rising actors you kind of can't help but keep an eye on. I've only seen him in The Iron Claw, but he is one of a lot of amazing performances in that movie, other than the guy that plays Ric Flair. I really don't know how that made it in the final cut. Like, were they only allowed to get like one take in, or like they didn't realize how bad it was in the editing room? But like, why would they leave that in? It's so confusing why that is in the fucking movie. And he's gonna be in those completely fucking useless Beatles biopics. So I mean, he's definitely someone to keep an eye out for, and the fact that he's already writing and directing his first feature film, you kind of have to pay attention to it. And I did like this movie a good bit. This movie basically follows a homeless guy trying to better and figure out his life, essentially. Frank Delane plays the main character here, and he is very, very good. The quality of this movie pretty much hinges on the fact that his performance is good and is engaging, and he is by and far probably the best aspect of this movie. I do have some pretty big complaints with this movie that don't really push this into like great status for me, and they both come from the screenplay itself, where essentially I just don't really feel bad for this character, even though I can tell the movie is really trying to make me feel bad. There's something that Frank Delane's character does where he hurts another person, and later on he has to be face to face with this person as they're explaining how much he kind of fucked up their life for a period of time. And as this person is explaining this tumultuous time in his life, you can see Frank Delane's character dealing with guilt and possibly shame. But when it's his turn to say something, he does nothing. Like, he like tries to get up and leave, and then eventually it just does nothing. And then the scene just ends, and we cut to him just like walking away. And while, yes, I get that the point of the scene is that he doesn't really want to express his emotions and possibly doesn't want to deal with his emotions, but like, fuck, man, you can't even like say like a little sorry or like anything, really. He just kind of comes off as a bit of a dickhead in that scene, and during the rest of the movie, he never really does anything that redeems himself for that in my eyes. I mean, he's still an interesting character for sure. I don't not like the character, but I just don't feel a lot of the emotions that the movie is trying to put on me after that scene. My second biggest complaint with this movie is that the ending goes for this big, ambiguous, like surrealist swing that I have pretty mixed feelings about. On the one hand, I do like the concept and the way the sequence looks. It's a very interesting sequence, and there's a couple shots where my ears perked up a bit. But on the other hand, I kind of question if the movie really needed it. From my own personal interpretation of the ending, I think it could have had a more stark and impactful ending if it just plainly showed what happened like the rest of the movie does. Overall, I would say I liked this a good bit. I would definitely recommend it to people who are debating on getting on the Harris Dickinson train. He does have the sauce. I will say he does have the directing sauce. I think he might just need to work on his writing, his screenwriting a little bit. This movie tries to go for some things that I'm unfortunately just not that emotionally invested in this character for them to fully work for me. But overall, I give this movie a 7 out of 10, which is the highest rating I've given after 4 fucking videos. Oh, man.
Give me back all my love. I've had a change of heart.